Hi, everyone. This is Get Seen in the Poconos, and we are coming to you remotely from our homes. And we are still learning about Zoom, but, we have to do what we have to do so that we can come to you every week. And we want to thank Veronica and the Cinder Inn for being our sponsors for Get Seen in the Poconos. We are still planning on our Mother's Day tea, although it is still, we'll make our final decision April 15th as to whether or not we will be actually doing that this year. But if we don't do that this year, we will figure something else out once everybody is able to come out and be in crowds again. So we hope that you bear with us, and I know that you all understand why we are not sure what's going on right at this moment. So I am joined by Holly. She is on the keyboard, and also Kathy Borey. She is going to talk to us about healthy alternatives for cleaning your home. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you coming on remotely, and it is a very interesting thing that you do, and we had a little conversation before we started recording, because I have asthma, and we were talking about alternative healthy ways of cleaning your home, killing the virus, and keeping your family safe while you're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's very important, especially nowadays, to properly clean and disinfect your home. And the word alternative always kind of irks me a little bit, only prior to the name brand very strong disinfectants. A lot of products were used 100 years ago or more. You had vinegar, baking soda, hydrogen peroxide. So it's not really alternative if first. Do you know what I mean? So what?
Well, that's true. That's very true. Well, I think about, because of course, right now they are recommending that we do Lysol, that we do bleach, and that there are some very strong ways of cleaning your home and keeping your area sanitized. But that isn't really healthy for some of us. Really, not for any of us. But some of us that have respiratory issues, which I do, I'm an asthmatic, or people that have babies in the home, pets in the home, they really need to be very careful about what kind of cleaning procedure they have.
Right. And even when you do use bleach, it is recommended to dilute it. But even when it's diluted, the smell alone is intoxicating. And there's studies upon studies of how it can affect and even trigger COPD issues and asthma issues and skin irritants and eye burning and lung issues. Cleaners, professional cleaners, get really bothered by it, because when you do several homes in a day and you're constantly spraying in it and you're it can really affect you. But there are other ways to properly clean and disinfect with things like rubbing alcohol, but you want to have dilution of it so that you can get the power of it. So with rubbing alcohol, you want to have at least 70%. So make it in a bottle. You would put at least 70%. So in a 32-ounce bottle, put at least 22 ounces of rubbing alcohol, and then water. And then you go put a dish soap or a little bit of essential oils to just kind of scent of the alcohol. And it does dissipate and evaporate very quickly. You can also use a hydrogen peroxide solution as well, with the 3% or higher, that you can find at medical supply stores or online. Although nowadays it can be a little bit harder finding it. But there are a lot of cleaners on the CDC site for COVID-19 that are hydrogen peroxide based and rubbing alcohol based. So there are those products out there. It's just a matter of, as a professional cleaner, finding them. And luckily I found a few before I started too crazy. But there are several ones that you can still find. Or if you want to do DIY at home, just follow the proper ratios, get the full effect. But not only do you want to follow the proper ratios, there's something very important when it comes to cleaning, where cleaning is just removing debris. you're wiping down your counter after eating dinner, you're getting crumbs off. That's surface cleaning. Then if you want to disinfect, what I personally do at home and at my client homes is I like to do bathrooms first and spray the toilet seat and the handles and the faucets first and let it sit for at least 5 or 10 minutes, however long, whatever I'm doing, because you want to get a good dwell time. And dwell is the time that the solution is on the killing off. So if you spray, even if it's like you just spray it and wipe it within a second, you're literally not killing anything. You're not giving dwell time. And a lot of the bottles will tell you on the back what a good dwell time could be. Could be 2 minutes, could be 4 minutes, could be up to 10 minutes.
Yep.
Depending on what the chemical is that it is. Some may need a longer dwell time, some may not. So it all comes down to a dwell time. So if you're using bleach or if you're using alcohol, you really want to spray and let it sit a few minutes.
Okay.
And
I did read that on the back of a Lysol can. I had never known that before until this outbreak happened, that like, oh, you're spraying it with Lysol and then you're touching it right away. Well, it didn't have enough time to actually kill the germ.
Right. No, it's true. Those are that you realize you just, because, in commercials, it's so easy. You see somebody spray and wipe, spray and wipe, spray and wipe. That's great when you're dusting, spray and wipe, because, you may not be worrying about a germ on top of a shelf of your bookshelf. But when you're kitchen counter, toilet seats, specifically bathrooms and kitchens, you really want to get a good dwell time. Now, when it comes to doorknobs, you can't really let it spray because then it's going to spray too long or sit too long because then it's going to drip down the door. So if you can maybe let that get nice and damp and just let it sit on the doorknob or like on a remote control, kind of just let it sit there for a few minutes just to let it really do its thing. That's a good way to get a really well time on a surface.
Okay. Another thing that I had read is that people don't think about that they're walking through spaces where people have maybe sneezed and have, they're infected or whatever, and that it will stay on the bottom of your shoes. So you should make sure that you leave your shoes at the door or spray them with something to kill the virus, so that you're not tracking it into your home on your feet.
Yeah, even prior to this, what I've always been doing is shoe slip covers. You know how like you would see a doctor throw on a shoe slip cover on the bottom of a shoe, those blue ones, and then you throw them out?
Right.
I'm not a big fan of throwaway if I can prevent throwaway, single use. So a few months ago, I found these awesome, I should have brought them into my room, but I could send you a picture if you need. Reusable cloth shoe slip covers. They're non-slip on the bottom. You throw them over your shoe, and it's elastic, so it's a one size, and then you go walk. What I do the second I walk into a client's home is I put on my shoe slip covers. So that way I'm not tracking in the mud or dirt that I just walked through and leaves, even though I'm going to clean, but I don't want to track in more. And right. Like you said, the amount of bacteria and germs on the bottom of our shoes is insane. And I've seen Petri dishes that people have done with swabs of the stuff that's on the bottom of your shoes. And then if you're walking through your home and you have a newborn or an animal and they're touching the floor and licking it, you're taking all that in. So if you can prevent shoes in the house, absolutely. If you don't have shoe slip covers and you need to wear shoes, maybe bring a new pair of shoes so you could switch into the home, like just have home shoes and not outdoor shoes.
Shoes or slippers. You could put slippers at the front door. So what else would you like to share with us?
Tell us a little bit just about your business, like how people can reach you, what you do, things like that.
Yes, thank you. It's Crunchy Cleaning by Kathy. I have a YouTube channel where I like to share tips on cleaning and organizing and different recipes. And then I have a Facebook page, Instagram, and a website as well. I'm also, can I mention I'm also the admin of a group called Green Clean Group, where we share all clean tips, recipes, all about, alternatives and different recipes with cleaning. That's great.
Kathy, how did you get started in this, out of curiosity? What actually spurred you to be interested in cleaning green?
Yeah, well, I'm originally from Jersey, and we moved to Pennsylvania about 10 years ago or so, and I've always loved nature and the outdoors. I've always been, recycling a teenager and just always been into nature and just trying to help in what, in any way that I can. So when I got pregnant with my second son, I was just having complications, and then the fumes were just getting to me, and I had a new 1.5-year-old at home, and I was pregnant, and I just couldn't take the fumes anymore. So I just started Googling vinegar and alcohol and just researching different recipes and checking out lots of different websites and scientific research and studies, and seeing that there are many ways to clean without having to deal with the toxins. And then my mom even told me, well, what do you think we did 100 years ago? Like, the version of Comet, and then I just went from there. And then around 2015, I wanted to get the workforce after being a stay-at-home mom for a few years, and my husband joked with me saying, well, you're poor, you like to clean, so go and clean. And I said, yeah. I put it out on Facebook. I said, but I don't want to do that. I want to do eco cleaning, what I've been doing at home for the last few years, and that route, and realized that there's really a big demand for this way of cleaning, because if you have children or if you have issues, you need to properly clean your home and disinfect it without having to constantly open up the window and feel like your lungs are in pain.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And that's another big issue with the virus too, when it comes to your respiratory. I tell people all the time, the less you have in your home, the less dust will settle. So if you could try to declutter, keep surfaces not so cluttered, so it makes it cleaner, easier to just clean, because it affects your lungs. All the dust will affect your lungs. All the chemicals will affect your lungs. So if you can keep lungs at least relatively healthy, that really affects your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kathy, we have to say thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we're going to be putting this on our Facebook page so you can share it to all of your friends and all your groups. And, I would love to have you come back on after all of this craziness, and we can actually sit together and have a conversation. But we really appreciate you joining us virtually this evening. Mm-hmm. And we want to thank the Cinder Inn for being our sponsor. They're great folks, and if you need any takeout or whatever, make sure to call over to the Cinder Inn and place an order. And they have, Holly, you said that you went over there the other day.
The other day, my son and I got lunch over there, and it was absolutely delicious. It was really good.
So it's a wonderful way to pick up a lunch and help a local business continue to work. So we thank all of you for joining us this evening. We will be back with Sistah Chat shortly, and have a great rest of the week, and we'll be here next Thursday. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye, Kathy.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.